Hello and welcome to another Starcraft 2 beta commentary. This is 1v1 on the map Lost Temple. It's between Wynd as the red Protoss and his enemy is Corrosive, the blue Zerg. Now it looks like Corrosive is going to be sending his overlord in the right direction and he's going to be spotting that his enemy is a Protoss. This is handy for him because now he can keep a good eye on his Protoss enemy all the while until a cybernetics core goes up, and then that's basically when you want to get your overlord out of the way. Because Protoss cannot kill that overlord until they've got a cybernetics core, because that's when they can start building stalkers and sentries. That overlord could be left over there, but hey ho. I guess he's more worried about an expansion going down. But I wouldn't worry too much about that, not with all that's being built in Wynd's base right now. So let's have a look. We've got a Cellar and a cybernetics core going down. A simulator has been taken on fairly early, which means that stalkers can be pretty much pumped out as soon as the cybernetics core comes out. So if that overlord does not shift his ass, he might find himself getting somewhat exploded by the stalkers' lasers. Pew pew. Now it looks at the same time that Wynd is going to spot out this hatchery that the Corrosive has put down. The Zerg player. Yes, just in case I forgot. He's got his queen there, spawning pool, not much else, not that you would do at this time in the game. It's a bit too early, especially if you've gone for a hatchery. So it looks like he's going to be trying to put some harass on, but I don't think that's going to work too well against the Stalker and Cellar, not to mention the other Cellar coming out. Now, circling harass can be fine when there's only just Cellars in the base, because you basically just run around the Cellars and try and pick off probes every now and then, run around. Even if you're not killing anything, you're still being a major nuisance to the enemy, sort of like causing them to spend more time on you than their own macro. So it's always a handy thing to sort of harass them with Zerglings if you can, but if they got a Stalker, that was the right thing to do. Basically pull out the Zerglings, because you're not going to be able to do much against that. Now this Overlord is taking his chances, because all it takes is for that Stalker to come down, and then that is a free Overlord kill, because that Overlord will not be able to make it. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. There we go. Basically I'll check up again on that, but that Overlord will not make it unless he can get to this very top cliff top bit here, which allows him to become invisible to the enemy, aka cannot be seen because he's up another cliff top. But of course he didn't make it that far. Oh, that's really bad for Wynd, because Corrosive has responded to that Overlord kill by basically sending all of his Zerglings, and this is really, really good for him. Look at that. That was excellent timing. I think that was most likely deliberate. He probably had his Zerglings waiting on hold, and as soon as he saw that the Overlord was being focused, that was the time to sort of bring in those Zerglings and take out the Protoss army whilst it was down the ramp. The Protoss army was up at the top of the ramp. He could have easily shoved the force field down there comfortably and basically avoided those deaths from all the Zerglings. But it's going to be very hard for the Protoss player to deal with this harass now. Of course the probes will come in handy, because they do very well against Zerglings if you get enough of them. And there isn't too many Zerglings. It's not like probes are great against Zerglings, I don't mean that, but they are still somewhat useful. Due to the Zerglings not having much health, you can sort of pick them off. Now, it looks like the Protoss did manage to survive that, but has he suffered a lot? I don't know. I don't think he suffered too much, but that was definitely very good for the Zerg player, so I'm quite happy with that. I thought that was very nicely done. Now an expansion is going down for the Protoss player. Will he be able to keep this? I don't think he's going to. Not with 5 roaches on their way. No, it looks like that access, that Nexus is going to be denied, and possibly this pylon as well. Yes. Cancel that straight away. Get back. Cannon here is basically going to be very helpful against the roaches here. Now a cannon can't take on all those roaches by itself, but with a bit of harass from the Stalker, sort of hit run, especially all these other Stalkers coming in, it's going to be very difficult for Corrosive to really put a good push there. But he doesn't necessarily need to, because he's got himself an expansion. As long as he can keep control of the map and stop his enemy from expanding himself, then he should be doing quite okay. Now the Protoss has got quite a lot of Thespian gas at this point, and minerals, and he's not being able to use it because the Zerg player is basically putting up quite a lot of harass here, which is basically playing with the Protoss' mind. I know that this used to haunt me a lot when I played Protoss, is you focus so much on the micro that you completely forget about the macro, and look, there's 700 Thespian gas not being used whatsoever. you know, shove down a few more gateways if you can't be asked to sort of, or if you're in too much of a panic to get yourself Stargate or something, like the Templar Archives towards, oh my god, I even forgotten what the hell they're called. How the hell did I do that? High Templar. Yes. So if you wanted an easy version of using up that Vespene gas, just shove down some warp gates and then basically spam out sentries. Can't go too far wrong with sentries, but if you are going to still use the gas wisely and you can micro at the same time, then try and do the build order for getting yourself High Templars. Cybernetics Core, Twilight Council, and then Templar Archives, and then you've got to upgrade Psystorm inside the Templar Archives. So yeah, there's a bit to it. So when you've got a good old battle going on, it's not easy to concentrate on all of that. Another cannon goes down for the Protoss here, so he's going to be able to sit in his base quite tightly. This might be a point where the Zerg player might want to move out, really. Maybe take an expansion over here on the left side, because whilst he's got the Protoss under control for the time being, Protoss isn't going to feel too comfortable to come outside of his base. But now he's starting to mass up quite a lot of units. Looks like he might be foregoing that expansion, but I might be speaking too soon because he's reaching 400 mils, so we might see an expansion spot come down here in a minute. I'll keep an eye on that. Looks like no, the probe is going for a robotics facility, so maybe not. Burrow's being researched for this Zerg player, as we can see. So he's going to be one of the sneaking some roaches, I think. Sneaky, sneaky roaches. But will that be very good? Because the robotics facility is going to be up soon. We might well see observers come into play. Twilight Council is just about to research Blink as well, so these stalkers will be able to out micro the roaches now. Because the stalkers can take a lot of hits from the roaches and then just blink back and let all the other stalkers do the damage to the roaches. So that basically means that he can't lose versus the roaches, providing he uses good micro. So at this point we're looking at a lot of roaches. No anti-air so far by the looks of it. But there's no Stargates, so he's safe in that respect. Now what's going to happen here? Are the roaches going to come off triumphant? Are we going to see Blink being used? I would like to see it get used. Ooh. All the roaches went down into burrow mode. This means they are now invisible to the Protoss player unless he can get himself that observer. And it looks like he's starting to work on it. So maybe that was a bit preemptive, basically using the burrow ability there, because he may have not built an observer in response to that if he didn't see the burrow straight away. I'm not certain, but then again, have you got the upgrade? Is the upgrade for enables roaches to move while burrowed? That has not been upgraded, so maybe it's just for the purpose of saving their lives. So when they get to low HP, just burrow them, simply like you would do with fiends from Warcraft 3. But roaches can be quite sneaky when you burrow them underground and move them about, so it's not necessarily a bad idea, especially against someone that's not expecting it. But an observer is pretty much a standard part of the Protoss army, especially if they get themselves a robotics facility, so it's not always reliable to sort of put a full strategy and go along the whole lines of basically saying, right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go full out on, you know, burrowing underground and trying to sneak into their base, because all they have to do is get one observer and spot you, and then that's it. Basically you can get really stuck. I know I've been there before, so it's not always best to sort of go all out strategies, but it looks like we're going to be getting stuck in here. Force field's going to go down. No, Psystorms are going down instead. Oh, that is nasty. Psystorms did some good damage there overall to a general amount of units. Didn't kill anything, but it did do good damage overall. Looks like the Protoss has got a very nice position right now. Yes, the Protoss player just has to mop things up. No amount of burrowing is going to help the Zerg player whatsoever.